Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this brand new video on ServiceNow admin part. So today we are going to discuss about how to load data in ServiceNow. This is one of the most important part of any admin in ServiceNow because we get various opportunities where we load data into ServiceNow. Whether there is a migration, whether there is a transformation of one business into another, whether there is a merger between two businesses. Most likely, you will get some records to import. Okay, so let's start with this amazing application, which is System Import Set. This application controls all the things with respect to loading data into ServiceNow. So first of all, we discuss about data sources. So when we talk about loading the data, there is a data somewhere outside the ServiceNow, right? So the data can be a CSV, it can be an Excel, it can be stored a particular location, it can be stored at a website, it can be stored on internet. So anywhere the data can be placed. So that thing is known as the data source. So our task is to get in touch with that data source and then move the data from there into the ServiceNow. So in ServiceNow, we follow a particular process. From the data source, we load that data into ServiceNow import set tables. So what is an import set table? It is basically a staging table where the data stores for some time, temporary period. Why? Because we want to sanitize the data there, because we want to validate the data there. We don't want our tables, actual tables, to get dirty data, to get unvalidated data, okay, to get unverified data and then fix it later. If this happens, it create lot of fuss, it create lot of issues. So that's what we are doing, all the sanitization checks, everything in this staging tables only. And then once we are sure that this is the data we want to move into our actual tables, we then transform the data into the actual tables of ServiceNow. So basically, once the data is ready in the import set table, we create mapping with the actual table and with the actual fields and easily move the data or transform the data into ServiceNow tables. I hope this complete picture is clear to you now. So with this, I'm going to start demo of all these options one by one. Okay, so let me start with the data sources. Here, let me click on new. So as usual, you have to provide name of your data source, user data. Okay. So in this example, we are going to import a small set of user data into ServiceNow tables. Okay. And that table is ServiceNow user table. So let me open the user table first here. So this is my user table. At present, we see 544 records. Okay. And what data I'm going to import? Let me show you that as well. So this is a small Excel, okay? It is having at the top, you see name of the columns. And this is the 5 records which I want to import. Basically, the columns are username, name, email, location, and active. So why this particular example is so small? Because I want to clarify the concepts for you, okay? That's why I have taken this small subset of data. So at the top, you see this format. So this is what are the columns of this particular Excel, right? So when we import that data, first of all, the data goes into the import set table. And remember, whatever name you have given here, this will be treated as the column name of import set table. So make sure at the top you have the name properly specified. Okay, whatever be the size of your data, we need at the top this kind of setup, okay, this kind of names, so that we can create the columns in the import set table, and rest is the data. That is fine, you can add the data there. Okay, we can do all the validation on that. Okay, so with this, let me go back. So this is my name, provide the import set table name. I have provided sample user data. So you see the import set name is already created, and my type is file. Okay, because I'm attaching a file here, my data is in the file. But your data can be in a particular database, your data can be in LDAP, okay, in another server, your data can be in REST, your data can be loaded by a script. It means the type can be anything, whatever you think of, you will be able to get data from that source into ServiceNow. Okay, so let's start with the file. Then we have format. Here we have to select the format of that file. Right now, our format is Excel, right? Yes. And then if your file is zipped, then you have to select it, but my file is not zipped. Okay. Then you have sheet number and header row. So in case from the Excel, you want to select a specific set of that particular data, you can select, you can provide the sheet number and head row there, but we are importing the complete file from there, complete data. So that's why we are not adding this. Okay, let's make it simple. Then use batch import. So in case your data is very big, you have to select this, and once you select it, you have to provide the batch size. But my data is very simple, that's why we are not using it. Okay, so file retrieval method is attachment here, because I will going to attach that file here in this particular data source. Okay, you can have other methods as well. It means it can be FTP, that is your file is stored in another server, another remote location, or it is stored on internet. Okay, anything like this. So just go through the wiki and understand the meaning of all these things properly. So these are just the places where the file can be stored. Okay, so this is done. Let me add the file here. So the file is attached here, demo users. Okay, now click on submit. So ladies and gentlemen, you see this is the data source which is ready, user data import. So here you see load all data. So as soon as I click on this, the data from the Excel will get loaded into this import set table. So let me click on this. You see the process is going on. It is creating a particular table here, and process is complete. Total 5 records are processed, and in that 5 records are inserted into the import set table. Okay, so with each import, a particular import set will be created, and that import set is linked to the import set table. So you see this is the import set which is created, which will tell you about your import. So right now this is the import set number. To identify this import set, this is the short description, and this is the state of this import set. Currently it is loaded because the data is just landed into this import set table, use sample user data. This is the import set table, right? So now let me open this table. From here also you can see, click on the loaded data. It will open the same table here. Use sample user data. Okay. Here you see the basic fields here. So these are the basic fields of a particular import set. I told you this is the import set, right? 18 number. And with each row from that Excel, we have a row created for this import set table. So this is the set number. This is the state of that particular row. Currently it is pending because the data is not yet loaded. It is resting in this particular import set table. That's why it is pending here. It will change later. I will show you. The target table is not yet selected. We have not yet done the field mapping, table mapping yet, right? So that's why this is blank. Target record is itself is yet not created because we have not added any kind of mapping here. Okay, and there is no error because lot to go on here. Now let me add the values. Okay, here you see at the bottom, columns are created based on the Excel. I told you, right? Based on the top row, you will see the column values. So if you remember the Excel, these are the column names. So the same are coming here. So the data is looking exactly the way it should. Now what I will do, I will create a transform map. Basically, I am creating the mapping in which I will map the source table, that is the import set table, with the target table. Okay, and then fields after that. So click on create transform map, provide a name here, sample user data transform map. You see the source table is selected here. This is the same table which we have created as a import set table where the data resides at present on temporary basis. And then you have to provide the target table, which is our user table. This is my table, select it. Okay, then you see run business rule. So with this user table, once the data reaches or once the data, transformed into this table, obviously there are certain checks and balances which are created, which are written on this particular table. If you want those validations, those checks should also be done on the data which we add right now, you can select this option. So generally we do this because we also want the new data to go through that validations one more time, because we already have business rules, we already have scripts written there, right? Then we have enforce mandatory fields. So in user table there are few mandatory fields. If you want such validations for mandatory field also happen here, you can select, okay, from these options for all fields or mapped fields, or generally we select no because we are adding the data from backend. Okay, so whatever option you have, whatever business requirement you have, you can do so. In case you have selected mandatory options like for all fields, and in case the source data does not have value there, the system will create an error so that you will understand that which mandatory field value was missing easily from that source data. Okay, so all these things are taken care. So at present we will create it as no. Okay, then we have empty field. You see the message, check this box to copy empty source fields and override existing target fields values. Okay, so basically it is asking us if there is a value in the actual table but the source table has no value, do you want to override that in the actual table? It means you also want empty field to be copied as the same in the target table as well. So we generally do not do that, but again it's upon your business requirement. Okay, then we have create new record on empty colsec field. So what is colsec? I will tell you just in a minute. Click on submit. You see the transform map is created. Open it. So one thing is done. We have mapped source table with the target table, but we have not mapped the fields here. Source field with the target field. This is also important because I want to tell the system that I want the data from this source field to go into this target field. Okay, so we have to do the mapping here by clicking new. So here you have to provide the source field and the corresponding target field. Okay, but we are not doing that. This is a manual process because our columns are almost similar to the actual tables here. We are going to do auto mapping. Okay, so click on this auto map matching fields. So ServiceNow here itself, okay, intelligently create a map for you and try to between the source and the target table. Okay, you can see the map is created for all of your 5 fields from the source table, and then the target corresponding field is automatically selected here. In case you feel this is not the correct target field, you can change the field by clicking double click. Okay, you can provide the name of that particular field here, or you can click here, or you can edit it as well. Okay, so like this you can just update the field. These all are the fields which are there in the user table. Okay, so this is how we create the maps here. So we were talking about colsec. So what is colsec here? So basically it is a mechanism so that you can select the primary field here, and by doing so you are telling the system that the value of this field is there in the system, then you need not to create a new record. You just have to update the other values corresponding to this particular column here. Let's say I have selected username as a colsec field. So what will happen? As soon as the transform happen, the system will check if this particular username exists in ServiceNow table or not. If it is there, then the system is not going to create any new record, because for this particular user we already have a record. Then why to create a new one? If it creates, it's a duplicate, right? But yes, if there are any attribute changes or certain field changes with respect to this username, you can update it. So there is no new creation, only updation allowed. But if that particular username is not available in the system, it means the user does not exist, right? It means there is no user with this username, there is no user with this email ID available in the system. That means you have to create a new record there in the user table. So this is the use of call checking here. You are selecting the primary value, and based on that primary field, that based on that primary value, your system is going to identify the records and take the necessary actions to create it or to update it. Okay. So you have to make sure you select the correct call check here, and always try whatever call check field you are selecting, it must have a value in the source. Okay. There should not be any empty value there. So now with this, I will come to this. Create a new record on empty call check fields. In case there is no value in the call check column of that particular row, even then you want to create a new record. Okay, in that case, you have to select this. But this is a wrong practice. This is not a good practice. You are selecting a particular field as a call check, so it must have a value. Okay, so you have to make sure your file or your data source is fulfilling such conditions so that your data will not go corrupt in future, or you will have a successful upload. Okay, so I hope you get it now, what is call check and what is this value means. Okay, so now what I will do, I will just create on transform. Now everything is ready. My import set table is ready. It is having data. I have mapped the tables with the actual table. I have mapped the fields of the source table with the actual table field. The only thing which is left is to transform the data from the import set table to actual table. Click on transform. You see, with respect to this transform map, we have the value here. So the transform will happen. You see the success is here under the same import set. So now come to this import set, reload this. You see the state is now success processed. Okay. Now come to this import set value. These were pending previously, right? Now reload it. You see the action is inserted. You see the target table is also selected. You see the corresponding target record is also here, because we have created a new record in the user table here. Okay. So now if I come here, reload this. Previously only 544 records were there. Now if I reload, you see we have 5 new records which are created. 549 is there. Okay. So these are the top records which were just created. You see, created about a minute ago. So these are the 5 records. Now look at the records carefully. Things are good. Username, name, email, and location is good, but active is false. Why should I import values with the false active? Okay, so this should be corrected. So now what I will do, I will again go to my list. Okay, here you see false was written. So now I will update it to true. It is a mistake from my side. I am correcting my mistake. This is true now. I have to save it. Now I will again come to data source. I will again run this particular process. So here everything is now set. You have all the structure with you. You have the import set table. You have the Excel and everything. Only thing which you have to do here is you have to remove this attachment and attach the same which you have just created or updated. Okay, with the true values. Done. Right now click on load all the records again. You see again 5 records are inserted and processed. Let me go to the import set. Previously import set was 18. Now you see the 19 is there. Click on it. You see 5 rows here for the same, right? Now let me go to my import set table, loaded data. Again you see for 18 everything is complete, inserted, but again for 19 things are pending. But let me see the active here. Active is true here. It means my correct file is now uploaded in this import set table. Okay, so now what I will do, I will again come here, run the transform map, because we already have created the transform map. We already have the table mapping and the field mapping done in the last step, right? So we need not to create again. We just have to select the import set from here. Current import set is 19. Yes, the same is 19. You see 19.1, right? And then click on transform. Now you see this is done. Okay, so now if we come here, Reload, you see it is processed. Okay. And at the bottom, you see the state of the fields. Nothing is inserted, it is updated because these users were already there, right? So let me go to the user table, reload it. You see active is updated to true. So what happened here? The colsec thing worked because we have added username or user ID as colsec. So now this time when 19 is running, 19 import set is running, in this case what happened? The system checked whether this particular username exists. So yes, the username exists, but there is a field which need to be updated and that field is true. Okay, that is active. Okay, so the same happened here. This is the fundamental use of call checking here. Very, very important. So you make sure you understand that. Okay. So I hope this is pretty much clear to you now. So let me close all this. You know what is an import set now. Okay. At the bottom, you see complete list of import sets. You see, these all are the import sets which were created for every import. Okay, so that your data will be exclusively available in that. System will automatically clean these import sets after some time, but basically it takes around 30 or 60 days. Okay, so no need to worry about that. Then you see transform history. So what is the history of each import set? You can see all the details. Total were 5, inserted 0, updated 5. This is the current one, right? 19. With respect to each import set, you can see the detail. Even you can see the transform errors. Okay, with respect to each import set, what is the error? So right now we do not have any error, but now let me create one error. So now let me again go to my list. Now, as you know that username is colsec field. Let me make it empty and let's see whether the system will throw any error or not. Save it. Now let me go to the data source again. Open it. Attach the latest file. Remove this one. Choose. Attachment done. Click on load all records. The same process we have to follow. We are just looking if we see any error or not. Okay. Now run the transform. A new transform is ready here, right? This is my latest file. Click on transform. Great. Let me open the import set. Import set 20 is now created. Okay. Previously was 19. You see here at the bottom, everything is in front of you. For one record, we have state as skipped. It means it has not checked anything and it is not able to see the target value because the username, which is a colsec field or which is a primary field, is missing. That's why it is not able to understand which record this system has to target there. That's why we see an error here. Unable to resolve the target because colsec field was not present. Got it? For rest of the 4 fields, it is able to, find the target records. But we have not made any change in the fields related to these records. That's why it is ignored. And no field value change was there. So this is how such kind of errors are coming. This is how you have to make sure your data is 100% ready. Okay. So this is how we get the error and this is how you see or able to analyze all these things. So data sources are done, transform maps are done. You can do the scheduled import. It means your file is there somewhere. Okay, or a particular team is placing a file in a particular remote location on weekly basis. So you can schedule the import from here and each week based on your time, whatever you select, the system will try to get the data from that data source, upload it into the import set table, apply all the checks which you have configured, and then finally transform the data automatically. Okay. Then we have ETL definitions. Okay, all these ETL definition and robust import set. These are the options which are there when the data size is very huge. Okay, so later I will provide one example with lots and lots of data, which is not possible in demo. So just skip it, but the concept remains the same. Okay, you have to understand all these basic concepts. Okay, so after that, you have this concurrent import set. So basically, what are concurrent import sets? Those import sets which are related to a particular single import. If you remember, there was a batch size option, right? In that case, also, if there are more than one batches which are going on, each batch will have its own import set, and these all are related to a single data import. So like this, you can see the concurrent import sets here. Okay, so that you know which imports are related to each other. So all things you will see here. So now it is a time for one more example. In this example, the data is stored in a particular website. Okay. So now let me show you that website first. This is my website, ServiceNow Spectacular. So this is an amazing website. You will see all the interview questions here, which are latest, which are based on various roles of ServiceNow, which are based on various technologies in ServiceNow, various modules in ServiceNow. So in each way, I have provided n number of interview questions. Okay, so you can go through it. So the data is stored in this particular website only. Let me show you. Let me log in into this website. So this is a particular CSV which is available here. If I just copy the URL of this CSV, paste it here, you can see the CSV. This is the CSV which is just downloaded. Open it. You can see there are around 1400 records which are there in this particular CSV. So I am going to import these. Okay. So how I will do that? Let me copy the URL of this particular CSV. Let me again go to the data source because this is a new data source. I have to create a new data source here. Click on new. Data from website, web. Okay. Provide some name here, web data. It is a file. Yes, it is a file. It is in CSV format. Yes, it is in CSV format. But the file retrieval method is not attachment. It is HTTPS because this is a secured website, right? And it is on internet. So the server is the domain name of my website, servicenowspectacular.com. And the file path is simply the path. So just paste the path here. Okay, so this is the complete path. This is the only thing which we have to provide here. But in actual environment, you have to provide username, password, and all these things as well. Okay, so just make sure, just for demo purpose, I am showing you this. Click on submit. So my data source is ready in front of you. Again, click on the load all data. So now you see it is running. It is creating a table, import set table, and it will take some time because the data is 1400 records and it is processed completely. You can see the import set there. There is a new import set 21 is created. Okay, in this import set, there must be around 1458 rows. You see all the rows here. All are pending because nothing has happened here. Just the data is loaded. Now we have to create a transform map for this because this is a new data source which we just have created. That's why we have to create a new transform map here. Web data for users. Okay. Provide the target table, again user table. This is my table. Click on auto matching the field. It is selected here, right? Field map is created. So as soon as I click on transform, the data will be transferred. So I'm not transferring the data directly from here. Okay, just stop. It is a complete process, but just stop. I want to show you one more thing here. So now let's remember that this particular import set is in loaded state only. Okay. Now what I will do, I will come here in the schedule import. I will create an import here. Click on new. Let's say I want to schedule it and do it automatically. So remember, for this particular import set table, we have everything ready, right? The field map is ready and even one set of data is also ready. But we are not importing it. I'm just testing this here. Test import. Okay. Now you have to provide the data source. So let's provide the same data source which we have just created, data from web. Then run as system administrator. If you want any other name, you can select from here. This is the frequency. Daily you want to run it at 1200 hours. So you can do so. Even you can add certain conditions as well. Okay, all these conditions are based on scripting. So we are just avoiding it for the time being. Here you see concurrent import. So load the data into multiple import sets concurrently. So if you remember, this is the concurrent import. So if the data is too huge, okay, you can do so by clicking here. Okay. So you see here, ServiceNow is also recommending the same. If the data is very big, you can do or you can import the data via multiple import sets. But in case your data loading has some order, okay, so you should avoid this because ServiceNow does not guarantee the transform order. It may be possible that even though the import sets are of same size, the second one which you have started later will get imported first. Okay. So in case if you have orders, then you can avoid this. Okay. So this is the concurrent import. You can select the partition method. So basically here you have to provide how you want to bifurcate your data. So round robin, or you can provide custom size. So you can provide the size like 1000 row in one import set. So you can do so, but we are not doing it right now. Then you have this pre-import script and post-import script. Basically these are available. If you want to do certain kind of validations, you can do so directly from here. If you check this, you can write the script here. Okay. And you can check this to write the script here. All these things are available. But as we have not started scripting, we are not adding any validation via script. Later, I will provide you one example with that. So now we are ready with this. Let me execute it. It is executed. Now let me go to the import sets. Look carefully. This is the 21 which is loaded, but 22 is loading. Okay. It is connecting with that website. Let us give some time. Let me reload it again. It is loaded now. And you can see the description. This one is direct import, which we just added right by our hands. But this is the schedule import which is happening. We have created a proper schedule import set for that. So it should be done automatically. That's what I want to show you. Reload one more time. You see here, it is processed. But this one is still loaded because we have not moved from the transformation to the next step. Okay, so this is loaded. So now let me open this import set. At the bottom, you see the state of each and every record from that 1458 records. Okay, all these are inserted. There is some error as well. Okay, so easily you can find everything here. If I go to the user table, you can see here the number of users are now increased. It was 500 something, but now it is 738. Okay, it is because we have added new data with this import set 0021. There were actually 1458 records, but only those satisfied our conditions are now imported into our data. There were certain duplicate as well, which I have just created just to show you how the data is being processed here. Okay, so this is how you do the schedule import. It is happening automatically. You just have to specify your data source and configure your data source properly. So with this, we are done with this particular application. You can try this. Okay, you can do simple small updates and then go for the big ones. There is one thing here which is load data. This is a simple interface which is provided just for ease. Okay, so you can see you can create the import set or use or select your existing one. Okay, and then you can directly import your file from here and click on submit. It will again redirect you to the same page where you see the data loaded into the import set table. Then you have the option to see the import set. Then you have the option to see the loaded data. Then you have the option to create a transform map, and then finally clicking on transform. So the same thing is happening here. So ladies and gentlemen, you can try this and let me know if you have any doubt. Thank you so much. Bye bye.